Time to check in with CoinDesk Global Policy and Regulation Managing Editor Nick Day, who's also the editor of CoinDesk's State of Crypto newsletter. Happy Friday there, Nick. What are you watching?
Good morning. Been a weird week, pretty insane week, I'd say. We're going to see a lot of this, I think, continue next week. We have a couple different things I'm keeping an eye out on. One of them will be the Senate Banking Committee hearing on the stablecoin report. It's going to be following the House Financial Services Committee that we talked about on Tuesday. And we'll also, I imagine, probably see a bit more on the Bitfinex hack money laundering suspects, who yesterday were accused of making plans to flee the country, potentially, in a new document released by Washington, D.C.'s District Court. So I imagine we're going to hear more about both of these issues next week, and it's going to be pretty, ongoing, certainly something to keep up with.
Yeah, Nick, speaking of the Bitfinex hack, there's a question that's kind of been floating around as to who actually is going to get the coins now that the government has gotten them back. That's not as clear as people might think it is, correct?
Right. So in its initial statement on Tuesday, Bitfinex has said that it's looking forward to recovering the funds. And the implication, and I think the assumption, is that because the coins were taken from Bitfinex, Bitfinex would be the recipient of all proceeds. However, it looks like a lot of the customers who were on Bitfinex at the time who were impacted are hoping to recoup some of the funds directly, because even though at the time Bitfinex released a couple tokens to basically try and repay its customer base, the returns on those tokens weren't quite the same as what Bitcoin saw in that same time period. And I'm honestly not too sure what the legal precedence here is. So I don't know who has a stronger case at this point, but most likely what we're going to see is there's going to be kind of a drawn out battle between Bitfinex, its former customers, or whoever was on the platform at the time, and possibly even the U.S. government, depending on how federal prosecutors see these funds. One thing it is worth noting is I've seen a couple tweets out there that says that these funds are now on the U.S. balance sheet. I don't know if that's a correct assessment of what's happening. It's more that the U.S. government has a hold of these, but it's not going to be putting them on its balance sheet. Usually what happens is these will go to the U.S. Marshal Service, who in past cases have auctioned off Bitcoin recovered through these kinds of legal procedures to the highest bidder.